This apocalyptic revelation or spiritual disclosure is for the benefit of God's chosen men and women, that they will understand how to know spiritual truth, how to hold the secrets of kingdom of God truth, and how to walk and live their life in the power of the spiritual truth. This is not a movement. Let me say that real slow. This is not a movement like the faith movement was a religious phrase in the early 1970s, because faith increases and a movement can die. Let me say that real slow. Faith increases and a movement can die, but the truth will never die. To the man who walks with God and to the woman who walks with God, God is the only one who can take us away. Let me say that real slow. To the man who walks with God and to the woman who walks with God, God is the only one who can take us away. God is the only one who can show us the secrets. God is the only one who can show us the future and give it to us. And God is the only one who determines the history of a man and the history of a woman. You need to write that down. God is the only one who can take us away. God is the only one who can show us the secrets. God is the only one who can show us the future and give it to us. And God is the only one who determines the history of a man and the history of a woman. God's thunder cracks and peals. It is the thunder of God and nothing else that portrays the judgment of God. God's thunder of judgment has a purpose for the righteous man and woman, and has a purpose for the wicked man and woman. First, starting with the good angels and the bad angels, God's thunder will deal with you. Let me say that real slow. God's thunder will deal with you. To each and every single last one of my enemies, do you really think that you can flex against the hand of God that rests upon the head of the man of God? Let me say that real slow. I have a message for every single last one of my enemies. Do you really think that you can flex against the hand of God that rests upon the head of the man of God? Let God's thunder fall upon your entire family, and show no mercy to your children and your children's children for 1,000 generations. I am God's spiritual assassin. I make no intercession for wicked angels, wicked men, and wicked women. Let them fall because of me. Let God's thunder be the beginning and the end of your doom under the sound of my voice. For you will not have time to brace yourself on the terrible day that God's thunder strikes you down to the ground. It is written, every single last one of God's enemies are punished. Every single last one of my enemies is punished. Pay close attention to cosmic disorders. Let me say that real slow. When you look to the sky, when you look to the sea, and when you look to the land and the things that happen beneath the sea, of the earth and the air in the sky, I want you to pay close attention to cosmic disorders. Every sinful society is being judged at the throne of God's judgment. The first group receives the spiritual blessedness of the righteous. The second group receives the sorrowful end of the sinners. Let God's thunder hit you like it never hit you before. and let you feel the judgment of God like you never felt it before. Pay attention. Let God's thunder hit you like it never hit you before, and let you feel the judgment of God like you never felt it before. Upon Satan, all demonic demons, and every last evil spirit, for they continue to lead men and women astray. The high-ranking protective angels of God all stand guard and stand together with me. God has dedicated his high-ranking angels to me. So make a clear path so that I may have the spiritual ability to see where I am going, and separate me from careless men and turn me away from a careless woman, including the careless religious leaders who have been led astray into abomination, apostasy, arrogance, bigotry, corruption, folly, greed and ill-gotten gain, family incest and iniquity, lust, mammon, oppression, pleasure and pride, rebellion, the 7 deadly sins, transgression, ungodliness, and wickedness. This is the end of part 3. God's thunder cracks and peels. Go back and listen to part 1 of this new teaching series. God's thunder cracks and peels. Listen to part 1 on Kenneth's podcast. Listen to part 2 on Kenneth's podcast. And share this one, part 3. And listen to it again. And prepare yourselves for part 4. God's thunder cracks and peels. Go to kennethspodcast.buzzsprout.com. That's kennethspodcast.buzzsprout.com. This entire teaching series, as well as all the previous teachings in the previous lessons before this one, they are streaming on every single platform. The hub of this podcast is Kenneth's Podcast on buzzsprout.com. You can subscribe, you can download, you can listen, and you can share. God's thunder cracks and peels.